Welcome to another MCC live stream series where we are going to continue looking at Apple's 30 activities for kids, and taking us through these brilliant resources is my good friend David Kirtland. David is an Apple professional learning specialist, and my name is Richard Child. I'm the education manager for MCC Digital. We are an Apple authorized education specialist helping schools with Apple technology up and down the country. There's a picture of us at Jaguar Land Rover at the last proper event that we did 18 months ago. Hope to be doing that again soon. Fingers crossed. Anyway, back to the activities. What are we looking at today, David? Let's have a look. Draw in, words, and say hello. What does all that mean? Over to you.
Yeah, we got three good tasks in this one. So a little bit more drawing again, but we're also going to jump back into GarageBand and think about creating a bit of a literacy project with it in here, and then maybe a little bit of clips at the end. So let's jump in and get straight on with this. So let's go back to our activities. So we're back here in the Apple Teacher Learning Center, and we're looking at the 30 creative activities for kids. And these are our little starting cards. So we're going to do a nice simple one just to get us going here. We're going to start with number 30 this afternoon. So personalize a portrait. So we've seen how we can use some of the drawing tools already. We've used the markup tools. We've used some of the tools within Keynote, but just a nice task just to get children experimenting with some of these here, personalizing a portrait. So let's have a quick go. So all the children probably already know how to take a selfie. So using the camera, taking selfies of themselves, or maybe even taking selfies of their friends or their families. I've got some pictures here. I think I'm going to use this one. Just a quick selfie there. And let's edit that. Now, as always, we've got those three dots in the top corner, which gives us access to our markup tools. We'll turn our live photos off because we don't want the photos to move. We just want a standard image here. And we've got our tools along the bottom, our different pens, our highlighters, our crayons. We can start adding things in here. I think I'm going to use a highlighter for this one. And we can just start coloring things in. So I'm going to go for blue. Now, if you tap on the pencils again, you can change the thickness that we're drawing with and also the opacity. So I think I'm going to go fairly bold with these. I have a nice solid color, and we'll go for this kind of creative textures here, and we can start adding some color to our portraits. Now, we have seen in some of the other sessions that we've been working with how we can use some of these drawing tools to kind of almost trace over some of the elements. So we could do our own drawings. We have looked at some of that type of thing in some of the other sessions, but this is just adding that kind of bright, colorful style to it here. Now, we could do all sorts of things with this. Let's see if we can put a party hat on. So we can start really kind of going to town with some of these things we've got here. So it is just kind of letting our imagination run with this one and seeing what we want to do.
I'm thinking jesters hats. I'm thinking dunce.
You could do, yeah. Or
pointy hats. Although you're not supposed to have those anymore, are you?
So we can add all sorts of things to these. Put some sparkly glasses on. So it's really just about personalizing that portrait, just kind of drawing over the top, having a go with it, seeing what kind of things we come up with here. And it can be a lot of fun, but also we're just encouraging children to explore that and also develop the motor control for the younger children to be able to do this type of thing as well. So nice and simple, nice and easy, just taking a simple selfie and seeing if we can use some of those markup tools to annotate and just do something interesting with the photos.
They could be very seasonal. Sanctify yourself.
They could be.
Yeah. Copyright. Have that one on me. Sanctify
we'll use
yourself.
that word. Okay, so let's push on. Let's have a look at one of the others, and I'm going to go this time to those additional tasks, the 30 more tasks. And there's a nice one here about developing our use of GarageBand. So let's go to number 3, words to that effect. Now, we quite often think of GarageBand as being that music app. We are going to think about scary things about songwriting and composition and all that kind of thing. But actually, there's a lot of things we can do with GarageBand that aren't just about music, and it can just be about that literacy task. It could be creating a radio show or creating some kind of poetry to sound and so on. And let's kind of dip a toe in that and see how we might use this. Now, I'm going to go straight into GarageBand and I'll start a new project like we always do. Now, in one of the previous episodes, we spent a little bit of time looking at these loops and how we could work with these pre-made templates to start doing a bit of remixing and a bit of DJ skills. Let's jump to the other side of GarageBand this time, and let's use that tracks option at the top. And the tracks option gives us all these options here for different instruments that we can play on the screen. But we're not going to go over to the music side of it and play with the instruments. We're going to focus on this one for the moment, which is the audio recorder. And if I tap on the audio recorder, it takes me to this option here. Let me just set that to clean. And this is giving me my options now to start recording sound. Now, the iPad has its own built-in speakers and its own built-in microphone. And in fact, you can see the input on the left-hand side of the screen there. That green flashing light is the iPad picking up my voice as I'm speaking here. So I'm just using the audio input. I've got a clean recording. I've just tapped on that option there just to give me a clean recording for the moment, but we will experiment with some of those. Now, I'm going to use this now to tell a little bit of a story. So we might have started our literacy task. We might have thought about writing a script. We might have planned something out, and we want to record these elements. And I'm going to do a very, very short one here, just as a little example. Now, before I hit record, that red button up at the top of the screen, I am going to just turn off my metronome. That's that blue little triangle thing there. A metronome just ticks the beat of a piece of music if we need it to stay in time. And I don't need that ticking on my recording. So I'm going to turn that off. It will tick to give me my count in, but once we start recording, it will stop. So I'm going to do a little space-themed story now, and we can just record our first opening line, which could be something along the lines of, as we landed on the alien planet, we could hear all sorts of strange sounds around us. And I'm just going to press stop and just do this in tiny little sections at the moment. Now, it's giving me that little blue line in the top of the screen. That's just telling me we've recorded something there. But I've also got a new button up here. And it's this third one here. It looks a bit like bricks in a wall. And that takes me to another view in GarageBand. And this is a fairly traditional music recording layout. Okay, so I've got one track along the top and it's showing me that microphone. I know that's audio, and I've got that blue bar for that amount of time we've just recorded. Let's rewind and just play that back. As we landed on the alien planet, we could hear all sorts of strange sounds around us. So we've got our first bit of audio recording there. Now I can tap on this and I can move it around into different places in our arrangement here. I don't need to at the moment. I can push the ends in if I need to cut the end off or add a bit more to it on there to see how the editing works for our recording. But I'm going to move forward. I'm going to move my playhead forward a little bit there, and I'm going to record maybe the second sentence. It is worth thinking about pressing the plus at the end of our bar ruler, because GarageBand works in sections and it's automatically giving me 8 bars. Now, bars are important if we're recording music. It's less important if we're just doing a narrative here. But I just need to make sure this section is going to be long enough for what we're recording. So I'm going to change that length there to automatic. And that just means however long I record for, GarageBand just keeps going. So let's put another line in here. So I can just press record. So I'm on the same track, that audio recording. I can just hit record. In the distance, we could see someone approaching us. So let's go back to our view now. And we've got these 2 recordings. I'm going to put that a bit closer so we can see how this is starting to come together already. As we landed on the alien planet, we could hear all sorts of strange sounds around us. In the distance, we could see someone approaching us. So we've got control now over the timings of these and where these fall. Now I'm going to press the plus down at the bottom left-hand corner and add another track on here, because I've got one line of audio recording. That's a nice clean recording. That's perfect for my narration. I'm going to add a second one, and I'm going to add another microphone, another audio recording underneath it. So I've got 2 together, and I'm just going to check where my playhead was. I'm going to put this at the end. I'm going to go for about there. Let's just go back to it. And this time, I'm going to change my effect from clean to, let's go to robot. And let's try it. So I'm going to record another line.
Someone approaching us.
Hello, and welcome to our planet. Now, let's see what that sounds like. So I've got these 2 bits of recording.
We could see someone approaching us. Hello, and welcome to our planet.
So we've added that nice little effect there. Maybe we want to change it. Let's try a different one. Let's go for monster this time, see what that one sounds like. So we can play around with this. We can add all sorts of effects to it and create those different characters. And of course, if you've got 2 or 3 children, get them to perform whatever the narrative is here. Now, I think I'm going to use some of my loops as well, because we've got all these loops up in the top corner. These are all sorts of effects and bits of music. We might have bits of guitars, bits of piano parts, jigsaw pieces of music that we can put together to create our own compositions. And we'll look at that in another episode. But alongside that, there's all sorts of effects. Don't forget, we can tap this button here that says Get More Apple Loops. And these are expansion packs to give us even more loops and musical instruments. There is a useful one if you're doing things like literacy projects or radio broadcasts and so on. And that's the pack called Toy Box. And that gives you some extra kind of special effects that you might want to download. It's all free. Just download those and it gives you these options here in GarageBand. But I'm going to go back to my loops, and I've just done a quick search here on planet, and you might find rockets and spaceships and all sorts of things. But we've got these different effects. Let's tap on a couple to audition these. And there's all sorts. We've got melodies. Okay, I think I'm going to go for that one, but we could use any of these really. So all I need to do is grab hold of that loop and drag it across to my arrange page. And I think I'm going to put it right at the beginning. I want this. I'm going to chop that beginning off there and put it back to the beginning. So I've got this as kind of like a atmospheric bed underneath our narration. Let's see what it's sounding like.
As we landed on the planet, all sorts of strange sounds around.
Now, before we listen to the rest of this, that effect we've just put in there is really quite loud, and I still want to be able to hear the narration. So all I need to do is find this little handle here over on the track list in here. And I can grab hold of that grey handle and just pull out this drawer. It gives me a few more options. And the main thing I want here at the moment is just this little slider, and that's like a fader in a mixing desk. It's just a volume slider. So I can turn this down. Let me turn it down a bit more, so I can balance what the children are recording, what they're saying with those background effects. So our recording is now looking something like.
As we landed on the alien planet, we could hear all sorts of strange sounds around us. In the distance, we could see someone approaching us.
So obviously now we can add more parts of our story, we can add more sound effects, and we can keep going. We can have great fun with this. It really is a great little task to develop. It does take a bit of time, but the children kind of really enjoy doing this type of thing. Okay, when we finish that, we're still looking at a GarageBand project, so it is worthwhile just remembering that we do need to tap our document button over in the top left-hand corner. It takes us back to our overview songs, and I can rename it here. I'm going to do a long press on the file, so I can rename it, but do press share, and it gives you the option to save that as a song. So at the moment, we're still working with a GarageBand project. If you save that as a song, it gives you a finished audio file that then you can send anywhere. You could send it to iMovie if you've made a film, and that could be your soundtrack. You could just save it as a finished audio file. So don't forget to do that extra little step there to export the song. But just a simple idea, doing something really easy in GarageBand. Do plan it, do script it, give them a little bit of thought about what goes into this, but a really fun task. Okay, so that was number 3 in the additional tasks, the 30 more tasks. Let's go back and do one more here in this episode. And I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to just do a quick and easy one here. So this one is number 17, say hello. And this is our first look really in this series at clips. And it's just a simple video here for younger children just to start exploring languages. And we've picked a word here. This one suggested hello, but you could pick whichever word or phrase you want. And we're going to record this in clips, but using the on-screen text as well. Now, to learn these words first, though, we're going to jump in and we're going to get Siri to come and help us. And we can ask Siri simple things. So we can say things like, hey, Siri, translate hello into Japanese.
In Japanese, hello is konnichiwa.
So we could spend a little bit of time with the children doing that research and trying to work out different languages, different phrases, trying to pronounce them and listening back to it and just learning those words. So Siri is quite a nice little tool for developing that knowledge to start with. So once we have that knowledge, we're going to jump into clips now. And clips is a really simple, quick and easy way to create video. So clips automatically opens up the camera. So I'm looking at the video camera already. And to record, I simply hold down that pinky red record button and I hold it down while it's recording. I'll let go when I want it to stop. So it is that kind of quick and instant way of producing a recording. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to press the little colored star. And that brings up some of my video effects. And this lets me put things like stickers and emojis on top of the video, and it creates its own unique style. But that second one there with the little speech bubble symbol lets me add some closed caption style text on top of the video. So we can pick an appropriate style, whichever one we think is right for this one. I quite like this one for a lot of tasks because it does flash the words in yellow as we say them, but we can pick an appropriate one. I think I'm going to go for this one now. And all we have to do is hold down the recording and speak into it. And we're wanting to create a series of videos, different ways of saying hello in this instance. So let's make a start. Hello. And I've just let go, so I've done a really short recording. Now you'll have noticed it's put a little preview of my recording down in the bottom corner. And if I play that back,
Hello.
It popped up on the screen to show me the text. Now let's add a couple more in. Guten Tag. Let's add another one. Bonjour. Or maybe the one we've just learned from Siri. Konnichiwa. Now let's try these and let's see what these are looking like. So it should be.
Hello.
Here's that text.
Guten Tag. Bonjour. Konnichiwa.
So that's working quite nicely just to give us those little recordings. We've done that bit of research, we've presented it there. Maybe ask children to work in groups and they put their own little videos in there, but a really simple task, just using clips to create those simple video. So a nice little round trip, that task there, just in, which one was that? Number 17 from the additional tasks. So let's leave that episode there. I'm going to hand you back to Richard.
Thank you. And, you know, you look at career paths and different ways that creative expression manifests itself. I listen to a lot of podcasts, David, and I do believe actually that a lot of podcasters do actually use GarageBand to edit their recordings and add a little bit of atmosphere, and it really does turn that piece of writing into something quite special, doesn't it? The adding of the choosing the mood music and having that precision to be able to move different parts of the recordings around and maybe chop and change. So wow, yeah, incredible. And clips, very underrated, isn't it? It's so powerful.
It is. Both of them are brilliant apps, and just taking either of those approaches, really, even if we're just getting, I don't know, maybe key to stage 2 children, taking some of the reception age books and producing podcast versions or video versions with the writing on the screen just for the younger children as well is a great task for the older children to produce that content, but then you've got it there for the children in the lower school to use and enjoy. Excellent.
So if you want to know more about these great activities for kids, then those 2 QR codes on the page there will take you straight to those resources. Another way to find them, of course, is to go through the Apple Teacher Program. Top QR code there will take you to the overview of the Apple Teacher Program, and the lower QR code there is the all-important sign-up page. Sign up for that with your Apple ID. start working through the modules and earn your Apple Teacher accreditation. Not a bad thing to do. Not a bad thing to do at all. More resources. We're just so generous, aren't we? Even more resources are available on the MCC YouTube channel. We would love to see you on there. We're building up a big old library of videos, some short ones, some slightly less short ones, but just dive in. There's plenty there to keep you busy. We've got videos on coding. We've got videos on creativity. We've got videos on augmented reality. We've got videos on all sorts. So do come and take a look and leave us a comment. And we'd love to see you back on a regular basis on our socials. So thank you so much for joining us. We will be back with another episode soon. What have we got in store, David?
We've got a little bit more manipulation of images and text in Keynote, and then we're going to go on and do some more animation.
Fantastic. Excellent. Good stuff. We'll see you then. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.